Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Medical Center Arlington, proud to serve as the official hospital of the Texas Rangers. By Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. By Captain Morgan, to life, love, and loot, raise a glass always in moderation. And by Ozarka brand 100% natural spring water, the official bottled water of the Texas Rangers. Beautiful, sunshiny, 85-degree afternoon here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sprawling metropolis that has seemingly doubled in size every time I've been out here for the last 10 or 15 years. It has gone completely crazy, and the umpiring crew out there taking the lineup cards from the respective coaches for the Cubs and for the Rangers. Rangers and Cubs meeting for the second time in this spring. They will match up 4 times total. One more time here tomorrow in Las Vegas, and then one more time down in Mesa on Tuesday. Rangers winning the first game against the Cubs last week. Cubs come in at 8-12 for their Cactus League slate. Rangers dropping back to 9-9 with a couple of ties after yesterday's 5-2 loss to the San Francisco Giants. But Ron Washington saying, look, ball club is playing well right now. And yesterday, a pretty good example of that. Played a good ball game, just a couple of pitches that ended up in 2-run home runs that cost them the ball game. Well, the Chicago Cubs batting order brought to you by Cholula here this afternoon. Luis Valbuena starts things off. He's at shortstop. Darwin Barney is the second baseman. DHing this afternoon, STARLIN Castro. Nate Shearholtz is in right field batting cleanup. Center fielder is Scott Harrison. Deoner Navarro catches, hits 6th. Brian Bogusevic is in left field batting 7th. The first baseman is Steve Clevenger. He is batting 8th, and batting 9th, Edwin Masonette, the third baseman. And the starting pitcher this afternoon, Nick Tepesch, brought to you by Dairy Queen.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, Buzz, like we said in the open, for Nick Tepesch. Late in spring training, he's getting a start. He's still in the mix for consideration as the 5th starter. He's pitched well this spring. This will be his 4th game. He's walked 2 and struck out 8 in his 8 innings. He's a college pitcher with a good assortment of pitches. He throws strikes. He pitched well in A-ball and Double-A last year. Not sure what Nick's expectations were coming into the spring, but he's probably raised him a little bit where he stands right now, and it's a big game for him.
Big Nick Tepesch out there, and he will go to work at 6 feet 4 inches and 225 pounds. Here's the defense behind him. In the outfield, you have Cunningham in left, Gentry in center, and Engel Beltre is in right. Mitch Moreland at first, Solarte and Andrus up the middle, Mike Holt at third. A.J. PIERZYNSKI is behind the plate, handling the 24-year-old right-hander from Blue Springs, Missouri, Nick Tepesch. Tepesch, a 3-year star down at the University of Missouri in his collegiate days that Tom talked about, working with the veteran A.J. PIERZYNSKI. And there's one thing, Tom, that PIERZYNSKI has really shown early, and we'll talk about this as the game goes on, his ability to deal with virtually any kind of pitching staff that he's had. And he's dealt with them throughout his career at Minnesota, San Francisco, and the White Sox, and getting a lot out of each of those staffs.
Yeah, and I think it's a good test for him coming over here. Catching pitchers he's never seen before. But one of the reasons the Rangers aren't worried about that is exactly what you said, the experience he's had with solid pitching staffs throughout his career. That's what he's here for, to do that.
But Tepesch up on top of the hill. Luis Valbuena will step in. Valbuena hitting .276 for the spring, and the first pitch, a sinker, is a bit low for ball 1. Valbuena, a home run and 2 driven in. Hits the other way, and that'll chase Cunningham back. He's on the track, right at the edge of the warning track. And Aaron Cunningham puts it away. Cunningham playing left field. That's right now is the Sun Field, a very high sky here. And this ballpark also plays fairly small. It's a huge looking ballpark. About 335 feet down each line, 364 to the alleys, and 433 to straightaway center. A 22-foot high wall surrounds the entire playing surface. But with the altitude and the light air here in Las Vegas, balls tend to jump out of here, and this place plays a little bit small.
Well, it was playing a little bit small when Joey Gallo was taking batting practice. I know that. We'll talk about Joey Gallo. He was a high draft choice by the Rangers last year. He's from Las Vegas. Hopefully he'll get into a game or two while he's here. Big power potential.
Slider from Tepish, a bit off the plate to Darwin Barney. Barney, a part of that excellent young middle of the infield for the Cubs. Starlin Castro, who's DHing today, goes with Barney, and that pitch outside to even the count now at 2-2. Cubs struggling to get things turned around, but they feel like with those two guys up the middle of the infield, they have a pretty good basic building block to go with. Ground ball to Olt, and Mike triggers a throw across. That is out number 2.
Good pitch right there from Tepish. After he got ahead 0-2, he tried to get him to swing at a breaking ball away. Then the 2-2 pitch, he ran his sinker right in on the fists. And Barney hit it right off the handle. Might have broken his bat. Watch this ball come in on the fists. Good movement. Good pitch. One of the reasons why he's still in the mix to make the ball club as the 5th starter. He knows what he's doing out there.
And that really, Tom, is a product of a young man that in college played in wooden bat leagues in the summer.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
You don't learn how to pitch like that inside when the guy's using a metal bat very well.
No, in fact, I think in the days of the aluminum bat, college coaches probably discouraged their pitchers from don't throw in, throw breaking balls away.
That's right.
And as a consequence, I guess there's probably a lot of pitchers that got to the big leagues not knowing how to pitch in.
Ooh, tricky hop, played nicely by Mike Olt. And that'll do it. So a very quick and tidy 1-2-3 first as Tepish sets down the Cubs. Half an inning in the books. Cubs nothing, Rangers coming up on Fox Sports Southwest. Home team here this afternoon coming to bat in the bottom of the first. The Cholula Rangers lineup looks like this. Elvis Andrews starts things off. He's the shortstop. He's followed by the center fielder Craig Gentry. Mitch Moreland is at first, batting third. Batting cleanup, the catcher A.J. Pierzynski. And Everest Solarte is the second baseman, batting fifth. The DH is Brandon Allen. Aaron Cunningham bats seventh and plays in the left field. The third baseman Michael hits eighth. And Angel Beltre is the right fielder, and he is batting ninth today.
Pitching for the Cubs, Jeff Smarja. Saw him last year, Buzz. Big, tall right-hander football player from Notre Dame. Great wide receiver. Mid-90s fastball. Had a good season for the Cubs last year.
And the Dairy Queen numbers on Jeff Smarja. Last year, his first year as a starter in the major leagues, and acquitted himself very nicely.
Well, he's definitely got a power arm. First year in the big leagues, he pitched strictly out of the bullpen. 75 appearances, all in the bullpen. Pretty dominating. Walks were a little bit too high. Cut his walks down pretty well last year. Had a lot of strikeouts, more than a strikeout per inning. He's one of their building blocks.
Elvis takes outside, and the count is 2 balls and a strike. Elvis back from the World Baseball Classic, playing for Team Venezuela that lost in the first round. And Elvis has not had a problem coming back into the lineup. He's got a 7-game hitting streak that both preceded and followed his time with the WBC. 2-2 now the count. Elvis, as you saw, a .348 hitter for the spring. Up the middle into center field by the dive with second baseman Barney. And Elvis Andrus continues his good hitting. That's an 8-game hitting streak now for the Rangers shortstop.
Turned that 95-mile-an-hour fastball around, hit it sharply right back past Smarge up the middle. Good start for the Ranger offense. Right through the legs, it looked like.
You know, one thing, Smarge may be a great athlete, but being as big as he is, there are a few holes that he has a hard time covering up very quickly.
To get that glove down, isn't it?
You got a farther to go down. Here's Craig Gentry with Elvis at first. No bunt shown there. He fouls off the first pitch. Craig Gentry, a chance to hit in the number 2 hole here this afternoon, hitting .281. Numbers on the spring. A couple of home runs. And no, they both left the ballpark. They were not inside the park home runs. He has credited Dave Magadan with giving him a clue that kind of supplied a little more power to his swing. Get a look at Elvis, who's staying put. And this pitch popped up. Behind home plate, Navarro off of the mask. Not much foul room here. And Navarro runs out of room right at the screen. Originally here at Cashman Field, they had a little more foul room behind home plate, but they added a couple of rows of seats, 3 to be exact, behind home plate, and that really cut down on the foul room. There's only about 35 feet from home plate straight back to the screen, so it's working against the pitchers and very much for the hitters. A little more foul room, as you saw, going down either line. Snap throw to first. Elvis back easily. Ron Washington, as we talked about yesterday, encouraging both Elvis and Ian Kinsler to get back in the running mode of things. Got him swinging. Gentry gone and a pretty good breaking ball, and that is out number 1.
Smarge not only has the mid-90s fastball with some pretty good movement, got a hard breaking ball. Definite strikeout pitch here. No balls and 2 strikes. Very well located slider. Excellent pitch. And Craig's a guy that doesn't strike out that much. Yeah. Good contact hitter.
So 1 on. Elvis still anchored at first base, and Mitch Moreland will step to the plate. And Mitch, another one of the Rangers that has really turned it on in the last few weeks. Overall, .367 with 7 RBI and a couple of home runs. Mitch, a 4-game hitting streak, and he has hit safely in 7 of his last 8. 1 ball, no strikes. Smarja, for the size that he is, really has a pretty compact delivery, and you don't see that a lot from, big lanky guy. Very strong young man, obviously going back to his football playing days. Moreland in the air to left field, not very deep. Bogusevic coming on, makes the call, and battling the sun, puts it away. That is out number 2.
I remember when Smarja was playing wide receiver at Notre Dame, was a first-team All-American there. And you kind of heard that he also played baseball. I don't think it occurred to a lot of people that he would actually become a baseball player as great a receiver as he was.
Yeah.
But he obviously knew what he was doing.
Now he's a baseball player who played a little bit of football.
Yeah.
The way he's looked at it. Here's PIERZYNSKI. A.J. batting in the cleanup spot. Takes ball 1. PIERZYNSKI, no home runs, 4 driven in for the spring. They're spending a lot of his time and putting a lot of his focus on getting to know the Ranger pitching staff, as Tom was talking about. That really the primary job for PIERZYNSKI in this spring. Shallow left field again. A tough one for Bogusevic, having to shield his eyes with his glove, and he puts it away. And that'll do it. So the Rangers can't do anything on the leadoff single. They strand a man. We've played 1. We are scoreless in Las Vegas on Fox Sports Southwest. Now, fans, your first chance to see these 2013 Texas Rangers at home is in an international exhibition game against the Mexico City Red Devils. That's coming up on Thursday, March 28th. Game time is 7:05 at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. And tickets are on sale right now at TexasRangers.com. Second straight year, the Rangers have faced the Diablos Rojos from Mexico City. Still remember the guy who was hitting cleanup for them last year. Took up the entire right-handed hitter's box.
Yeah.
And he could swing it.
That guy was a monster.
He was as big a man as I have ever seen in a baseball uniform. But
going back to the days of Joey Meyer with Milwaukee.
No kidding. Now Nick Tepesch back out to the hill after having worked a 1-2-3 first inning. He will face Nate Schierholtz, Scott Harrison, and DeAndre Navarro here for the Cubs in the top of the second. Scoreless ball game, and Tepesch goes to work, misses low and inside to Schierholtz. Nate Schierholtz having a good spring for the Cubs, trying to make this ball club after being with San Francisco in the recent past. Ripping a miss. And the count is even at a ball and a strike. Baseball America, who does a lot of rankings for minor league players and the different systems, had Nick Tepesch as the 19th best prospect in the Ranger system, but they also ranked him as having the best slider of any Ranger pitcher in their organization. Something that Mike Maddox and Ron Washington can keep an eye on. They will attest to it. Line drive by Olt down the left field line. It's a fair ball and headed toward the corner. Cunningham plays the carom and into second with a leadoff double is Nate Schierholtz. That ball just barely eluding Mike Olt.
That wasn't a bad pitch. It was a tailing fastball down and away. Schierholtz hit it okay toward the end of the bat. Just got it right by Mike Olt at third base.
Now the first hit for the Cubs this afternoon, a leadoff double here in the second inning. Now Scott Hairston will step in. Hairston, another new member of the Cubs coming into spring training. Having a little bit of a rough time, as those numbers would tell you so far. 1 ball, no strikes. Hairston, the brother of former Ranger Terry Hairston Jr. Their dad, of course, played a long time in the major leagues for the White Sox primarily. 2 balls and no strikes. Tepesch trying to minimize any damage that was done by that leadoff double. And this is inside. It's 3-0. Well, Hairston, the number 5 hitter with the advantage in the count. He'll be followed by the catcher, DeAndre Navarro. There's Navarro. 3-0 pitch. On the inside corner. Adrian Johnson, by the way, calling the balls and strikes on this beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon in Las Vegas. Chopper foul, and the count has gone full. Major bullpen down the left field line down there. A lot of foul territory, as you can see, before it juts out in that deep left field corner. 55 or 60 feet of foul territory before you get down to that bullpen area. Now the payoff pitch. Call strike 3.
There's that slider you're talking about, Buzz. You can tell he's not afraid to throw it. 3-2. The thing about his slider so far in the game is when he's missed with it, it's been down and out of the strike zone. He brought that one right on the outside corner, like the slider that Smargin used to strike out Gentry. Excellent pitch.
You couldn't have walked up there and put that in a better spot.
No. And if you're Hairston, you might as well take it.
Yep.
Hope he gets called a ball because you're not gonna hit it.
No, big strikeout of Hairston. Now Deanna Navarro, the standard hitting catcher up there. He takes inside for ball one.
Tepish has pitched 9 in the third innings and struck out 9 batters in the spring. Throughout his brief minor league career, he's always had excellent command and control. Doesn't walk many batters.
Side of play down the left side. A ball and a strike. Now that's a big thing. You know, you get rated like Tepish was as having the best slider, and your command is good. There's no reason to have a limit on how far you can go.
Exactly.
That's a great combination.
And, you know, he's probably the 19th best prospect because he doesn't throw 96 miles an hour. You know, he doesn't light up the radar gun. But there's a lot of 15-game winners in the big leagues that don't light up a radar gun.
Hard hit ball. Knocked down by Moreland. Good job by Mitch is staying with it. Underhands to Tepish. That is out number 2. On to third goes Sherholtz, but he's there with 2 outs now. And Brian Bogusevic coming up.
The first time, obviously, that we've seen Nick Tepish. And if you want to just go by radar gun speeds based on the first couple of innings of this ball game, he's been anywhere from 90 to 92 miles an hour. But he has good sinking action on his fastball. And what looks to be pretty good command of it, too.
He's got a guy that if he really wants to pick somebody's brain, a guy that I would suggest he go talk to immediately is a guy by the last name of Maddox, and I don't mean Mike. He'll talk to Mike a lot, but Greg Maddox made a pretty good living, not exactly lighting up radar guns, but knowing how to pitch.
Sure.
Bogusevic, former Astro, takes inside for ball one. Bogusevic having a great spring as he tries to make this Cubs ball club. 433 is his average.
The last pitch looked a little more like a cutter than a slider. Had a little bit more velocity.
Chopper slowly hit to second. Solarte on to first. A great job of working around a leadoff double by Nick Tepish. He strands Sherholtz. We played an inning and a half. Still no score. The Cubs and the Rangers on Fox Sports Southwest.
This
Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Dairy Queen. DQ, that's what I like about Texas. By Las Vegas, for all things Vegas, there's only one LasVegas.com. By Cholula, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. By Capital One Bank, the official bank of the Texas Rangers. And by the City of Surprise, Surprise Recreation Campus, spring training home of your Texas Rangers. And the view from atop Cashman Field in Las Vegas, looking out toward the Nellis Air Force Base and environs to the northeast. Scoreless ball game. Yangervis Solarte starting things off full. The Rangers takes a strike from Samardzija. Solarte getting the start at second base today, hitting an even 300, as you will see. Good on-base percentage, over 360. Off speed and just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Smarja allowed a leadoff single in the first inning, but Elvis Andrus not able to get any further than first base. Look out. Smarja gets spun around by that Smarja fastball. And Evers taking a little extra time to get back into the batter's box. It's a pretty good rip at that fastball. Fouls it away. And it's 2-2. So Solarte last year ended up spending the entire year at Round Rock, AAA affiliate for the Rangers, at 288. Had 11 home runs and 54 RBI. Good changeup by Smarja, and just staying alive is Solarte.
Smarja can perfect that changeup. Be on his way to a big winner in the big leagues with the movement that he's got on his 95-mile-an-hour fastball and the hard slider that he throws. Power pitcher.
Again, the 2-2. Slowly hit first base side. Smarja off the mound. Fields it nicely. And you saw some pretty good athleticism for that big guy getting over the line. So Solarte has gone one away for Brandon Allen.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing you should just assume about him, that he's got some pretty good athleticism fielding his position.
Brandon Allen.
Well, one away. Here's Brandon Allen, who has a couple of home runs this spring. 5 RBI, hitting at 222. Big left-handed hitter up there, and Smarja's first pitch to him. Good breaking ball for strike one. Brandon Allen from Conroe, Texas. 6'2", about 235, and checks his swing on a fastball. The tail's wide. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Allen signed in the offseason by the Rangers as a free agent. Spent time last year split between Oakland and Tampa Bay. Also went over and played a little bit in Japan. Played 12 ball games over there. Pops this one up. Right side, it's Barney, the second baseman, making the call and the catch. And there are 2 gone.
2 outs, 2 changeups. One thing with Darwin Barney, Buzz, you don't expect him to drop a ball or make a bad play. He is a very good one. He's a very good fielder. Last year he came an inning away from setting the all-time errorless streak at second base. He won the Gold Glove, made 2 errors in 155, 156 games.
That's hard to imagine.
I was reading the error he made. It was a ball up the middle that he made a nice play on, through to first. The runner was safe for a base hit, but the throw got just a little bit by the first baseman, and the man scored from second on the play, and that was the error that broke a streak.
Man. Chopper up the middle, slowly hit, charged by Valbuena, and that'll do it. So the Rangers go in order, and Smarja now has retired 6 straight. We finished 2 in Las Vegas. Rangers nothing, Cubs nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Cubs and Rangers scoreless. We head to the top of the third inning. And the sounds of the game brought to you by Papa John's. Ron Washington joining us, the Rangers skipper. And Ron, good to have you along. Appreciate you taking the time to do it. It's kind of a relaxed atmosphere in spring training, although you guys are getting to the point now where it's time to kick it in gear a little bit if you're in competition to get a spot.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And I think once we get away from that off day on Wednesday, all of a sudden, you know, you'll see the regulars out there a little more often. They'll be playing a little longer. And it's time to start getting those at-bats and start getting ready.
The right center field, that is trouble. It's going to go all the way to the wall. As Clevenger around first will steam into second. Second straight inning that the Cubs have had a leadoff two-bagger. And we'll see if Nick Tepesch can work around this one also.
Wash, one of the positions that appears to be wide open is for your fifth starter. You've got a youngster, Nick Tepesch, on the mound today. How would you describe his work so far this spring?
Well, so far this spring, his work has been tremendous. You know, he has a 4-pitch mix, and he can use them all around the strike zone and in different areas. And, you know, he don't seem to be afraid out there. You just keep pounding the strike zone with it. And as you've seen, he had a leadoff double last inning. He worked around it, and we're hoping for him to do the same thing right now.
Edwin Masonette, the number 9 hitter up there, and he swings through a fastball.
We saw a young pitcher yesterday that we weren't too familiar with, Joe Ortiz. How do you describe him? Everybody's telling me he looks just like Eddie Guardado. That's pretty good.
And he works like Eddie Guardado. He's short, and he do quick business. Yes, he comes in, and he pounds the strike zone. If you take, you know, it's a strike. If you swing, it's in play. And that's what he does. He doesn't mess around. He hits the strike zone with all of his pitches. And, you know, maybe his height has something to do with it.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me, watch, of Robbie Ross last year. Ross just came out firing strikes the entire spring, and that kind of opened eyes. And looks like Joe Ortiz is cut out of the same mold.
Well, no doubt about it. And the thing is, he has pitches. You know, he can sink the ball. He can get it in on right-handers. He can get it away from lefties. You know, he just has a tremendous mix, and right now, you know, he's using it extremely well.
Wash, how about the World Baseball Classic? How has that affected the Rangers in your spring training this year?
Well, you know, in my opinion, it haven't really affected us that much because although the guys that we're dependent on have left us, and I'm talking about Cruz, and I'm also talking about Profar, who just recently left. And Holland being gone, you know, Mike had Holland already stretched out, ready for that situation over there. And, you know, the thing is, they're playing baseball and they're playing competitive baseball. And so when they return to us, they'll be in a good mode. The only thing I hope for is that they continually stay healthy and get back here healthy.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got an update on Derek Holland. He picked up a little stomach bug. I mean, it has nothing to do with his time playing, but he's going to take a day or so to recover from that.
Yes, he is. And, you know, a lot of those restaurants that I recommend to him when I go out there on the mound, you must have been staying away from him.
You're trying to take care of him. He just won't listen.
He just won't listen.
I've seen a couple trips to the mound where he listened to you, though.
Yeah, well, you know, and then that night he went to the restaurant and everything worked out.
Yeah.
And for those lip readers that know very good and well that all those conversations weren't about restaurants.
I was listening to you up in the press box.
Yes, you know, but Derek, you know, you just have to stay on top of him. You know, he has tremendous stuff, and he has the ability to do exactly what he's been doing for us, but you just have to stay on top of him.
Well, a little flare falls in. Looked like Elvis going out had a play on it, and that really kept Clevenger, the runner at second, anchored close to the bag, so when it fell, he couldn't advance. The Rangers will take that, even though they've given up a double and a single. Runners at first and second with one out.
No, all he has to do is make a pitch, and, you know, as Mike always say, he's one pitch away from greatness. Double play, you're out of the inning.
Wash, how do you make your decision on who comes to Vegas and who stayed back in Arizona?
Well, you know, I go around, first of all, and check with the veterans, see if they want to make the trip out. And in the beginning, they all were gung-ho about it, but as we got closer to it, they began to bail on me. But I got Pierzynski, I got Moreland, I got Gentry, I got Elvis. So we're in good shape. You know, we're in good shape. So that's how it goes. You know, you just want to make sure that you don't bring them any place they don't want to go. And usually the veterans get first choices.
Darwin Barney with an opposite field single against the Cubs on the board. So 3 hits in the inning, a run across, and Chicago taking a 1-0 lead. Cleveland, you're able to come on home from second base. And moving from first to third is Luis Valbuena.
Wash, we talk constantly about the pitchers and what kind of shape their arms are in and the players getting ready for the season. You're one of the hardest workers in camp. What kind of shape are you in right now? How's your body feeling?
Well, my body is aching, but maybe that could be the age. But shape-wise, I feel good. My legs are strong. My arm is strong. My mind is strong. It's just that, you know, I'm a little up there in age, and I'm beginning to feel it. But I'm from the old school. I'm going to work through it. But these guys, you know, each and every day, they're looking a lot better, and things are getting better for us. And as I said, our main thing is just to stay healthy.
To right field, off the bat of Castro, tagging at third, coming in to score is Valbuena. And STARLIN Castro with a sacrifice fly makes it a 2-0 Chicago lead.
And at this stage, Wash, you're still throwing your BP every day, aren't you? What do you throw, 20 minutes every day?
20 minutes every day, and I will do it every day until there's no more baseball, until days come that we don't take BP. But no, it's a part of my routine. I enjoy doing it, and I do believe the guys enjoy me throwing to the group that I throw to. So, you know, as long as they enjoy it, I will go out there and do it.
You ever try to take a little off or get in their kitchen a little bit, try to get them out, or are you just serving up the...
No, I'm moving the ball around the zone, and I'm always telling them I'm trying to get you out, but they seem to knock me all over the ballpark. And, you know, they sort of in my head. They know if I go away with something and they get me, I'm coming back in, and if I come back in, I'm going away.
They figure you out?
Yeah, and I just let them know they're not in my head, although they hit me all over the place. But that's what I'm supposed to do.
Got to get a little extra movement on it. Cut one every once in a while, huh?
Well, you know, pitching is something that I've never wanted to be a part of. It's too tough of a job. You know that, Buzz, out there on that mound. But throwing that BP, you know, I love to move the ball around. I just don't want to groove it in there and just have you taking a swing. I like you to adjust your swing when I throw BP to you, and they know that, and they're ready for it.
1-1 the count to Sherholz. Nice backhand stop by Moreland. He steps on the bag, and that'll do it for the Cubs. But Chicago comes up with a couple of runs on 3 hits, and they strand one. After 2.5, the Cubs now 2, and the Rangers nothing. Wash, appreciate you hanging with us for the half inning, and good luck. We'll talk to you later on.
Okay, thank you, Buzz.
Cubs take a 2-0 lead on the Rangers. Texas coming to bat now. The bottom of the third inning. It'll be Mike Olt, Angel Beltre, and Elvis Andrus to face Jeff Samardzija. Fastball from the big right-hander to hold. Mike hitting 185, but he has brought that up significantly of late. He got off to a very slow start, and he started to pound the ball pretty well. A couple of home runs, 5 driven in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Gold getting the start this afternoon at third base. There's a chance we'll see Joey Gallo, a Las Vegas native, at third base at some point, either today or tomorrow, or maybe both.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of fans here to see Joey. Yeah. All the TV people were here interviewing him during batting practice.
And as you say, Tom, he put on a pretty good show during BP.
Right, reminded me of Russell Branyan. Big angular left-hand hitter with light tower power, as they said.
Old waiting, in the 2-2 pitch on the way. Pulled foul outside third, and we'll come back and try it again. Rangers as a team pretty much got off to a slow offensive start this year, although look at 285 over the course of the last 15 ball games. That's brought their team average up to 272. The middle of the pack for the Captain's League this spring. Going outside, that fills the count to Mike Old. Old trying to get aboard to start the Ranger third. Angel Beltre, the number 9 hitter, is waiting in the on-deck circle. Smart's payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. Well, Mike Old works a walk, and that breaks a string of 6 straight hitters sent down by Smarja. Rangers for the second time today have their leadoff man aboard, and we'll see if they can't capitalize. Angel Beltre, the young outfielder, will step to the plate. Beltre, in the A games this spring, has had a bit of a problem, hitting just .077. Smarja, a check of Old at first. And the ball bunted right back to the mound. Smarja, high throw to second, and in time is the shortstop Balbuena able to go up the ladder and come back down with a foot on the bag in time to get Old.
That was a good try, trying to get the ball by the pitcher and maybe beat that play out. Unfortunately, bunted right back to a nice athlete who made the easy play to second base. Almost threw it high, though.
Now Buena doing a little toe tap on that bag just before Mike Old was able to get in there. So Beltre exchanging places with Old at first base. There's now 1 out, back to the top of the Ranger order. And Elvis Andrus, who singled right back through the box his first time up. Beltre at first, pretty good speed. 36 stolen bases. He's on the move. The pitch is inside. The throw is late. And Angel Beltre sliding in head first with the stolen base. He's now in scoring position for Elvis Andrus. And there's some of that base stealing speed that Angel Beltre has shown. He was 36 out of 46 last year at AAA. Not much DeAndre Navarro could do with that. Even a great throw would have not been there in time. Smarja, a check of second. The breaking ball is a little bit wide. 1 ball, 1 strike to Elvis. Elvis with that first inning single, extending his hitting streak to 8 consecutive ball games for the spring. Elvis putting on about 15 pounds of muscle in the offseason. Boy, he really looks it, too. He's really filling out.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see how big his arms are.
Sharply hit ground ball, cut off by Masonette, the third baseman. That is out number 2, with Beltre staying at second.
Craig Gentry.
That'll be Craig Gentry. Gentry, a strikeout, his first trip to the plate. The year that Craig Gentry had last year, hitting better than 300, 304, and getting a lot of playing time in the Ranger outfield. And the way he has handled things this spring, he and Leonis Martin, boy, it's a cinch that they'll both see a lot of playing time and some position. Maybe both of them in the same outfield from time to time. Chopper foul. The count moves to a ball and a strike. And Ron Washington has made no bones about it that they have both made the kind of impression that would lead you to think that they can both play at in the center field as a starter. It's a nice problem for the skipper to have. You know, which of the two hot guys do you want to put out there? And he said, well, maybe I'll put both of them out there from time to time. Now the 1-1. Got him on the fist and a roller out to second. Barney on to first. That'll do it. So the Rangers can't do anything with a leadoff walk. They strand a runner. We have finished 3 in Las Vegas. Cubs 2, Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Ranger fans, suit up for spring training at the official online shop of the Texas Rangers. It has the largest selection of authentic spring training gear, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a whole bunch more. Get set for spring at the official source, the TexasRangers.com shop. As we head to the top of the 4th inning, a very special guest joining us in the booth now, Mr. Jorge Calderon, who is with the commercial banking group of Capital One Bank in Dallas, the Dallas market executive. And Jorge, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure being here, Steve.
The Capital One Bank and the Rangers have forged a great working relationship now, and a lot of things sponsorship-wise that Capital One Bank is doing at the ballpark that a lot of folks are very excited about on both entities.
We are too. We have grown our relationship over the years. This year we're going to be, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the official bank of the Rangers, so we're very excited about that.
Well, I hate to put this in the middle of such a great conversation about Capital One Bank, but that was a home run by Scott HAIRSTON for the Cubs, and Chicago now leading 3-0. HAIRSTON with his second home run of the spring. Talk a little bit, Jorge, if you will, about the relationship and how it developed between the Rangers and Capital One Bank to expand the sponsorship opportunities.
Well, you know, I'm sure you know the great professional front office staff that the Rangers have, and Rick George and Kelly Fisher and the rest of Nolan Ryan and the rest of that team, they over the last couple of years kind of been working on us to make sure that we expand the things that we've been doing over the last few years into this official bank sponsorship.
We've had an opportunity to see during the put-together process of the line drive to left for now, the new Capital One Bank club right behind home plate, and it sure looks like it's going to be a great situation up there.
We're very excited for the Rangers fan, for our associates, and for our clients to have such a great venue, and I can't wait to get that started.
What about how active your bank is in the local communities around Texas? What does that mean to your organization?
It means a lot to us. Like the Rangers and the Rangers Foundation, we are very involved in our community. We believe that improving the quality of life in the communities that we live, work, and play, it's of utmost importance.
Great.
Slow chopper out to second. And Solarte, off-balance throw. Bogusevic is out there 2 away. And Steve Clevenger is coming up.
Now, you're from Puerto Rico, correct?
I am.
Now, are you following the World Baseball Classic a little bit?
I have been. I have to give a shout out to my countrymen back home. All
right.
$4 million of them are happy to be part of the WBC. We're still alive. We lost to the Dominican 2-0 as we were holding this game.
Score today.
Yeah, we just lost, but we're still in the hunt.
Yeah, and that just decided who was going to be the #1 seed. I think it was in the finals out there.
That's correct. I believe that they move on to play home.
The center field, Gentry retreating. A lot of room out there. A cavernous center field. And that will do it. Jorge Calderon, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to a great relationship between Capital One Bank and the Texas Rangers.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, Jorge.
Our pleasure.
Great to have you.
Back in Las Vegas for the bottom of the 4th inning, 3-0 Cubs. And let's take a look at the injury report brought to you by Medical Center of Arlington. Some updates on the situations for the Rangers injured. Kobe Lewis had a bullpen session on Thursday, progressing very well. Martin Perez out, of course, with that broken ulnar bone in his left forearm. He's going to be out a couple of months. Kyle McClellan, there's an update there, and he's been listed now as having a strained lat muscle, his latissimus dorsi. He will not be able to resume throwing until 3 to 4 weeks from now, and that is a tough deal for Kyle McClellan. One of the guys that was really in the hot competition for that #5 starter spot. Had one outing that was reasonably good as far as he was concerned, and was looking forward to the next one, and all of a sudden, boom, he is on the shelf for 3 to 4 weeks.
It's too bad. A good opportunity. Even if it wasn't the 5th starter spot, he might have slid into a relief role, too.
Right.
That's too bad.
And you saw the others, Joaquin Soria and Neftali Feliz. Feliz probably not back until later in the season, sometime August, maybe September. And Soria hoping to be back about the same time that Colby Lewis is looking for. Chopper foul off the bat of Mitch Moreland down the right field line. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, it'll be interesting to see as far as the Ranger injuries, especially the one to Colby Lewis. It will have a direct impact on that 5th starter spot, how important it is who wins that 5th starter spot. If Colby comes back 100%, you would figure that he would slide back into the rotation and give you some flexibility. Mitch fouls it away. It's still 1-2. And, of course, Soria, well, you'd love to get him back, get that power arm back at the tail end of the Ranger bullpen. Add one more guy down there that has had a lot of experience and has outstanding stuff when he is healthy. Smarja back to the plate. Another foul that came down and took a bite out of the foot of Mitch Moreland. He'll hop around just a little bit. Still 1-2. It's funny, Tom, we talk about McClellan having that befall him. Baseball has that old adage of if you have a whole lot of questions about who's going to do what and wait a while, because baseball tends to answer those questions for you with injury or lack of production or some way.
Yeah, you're always in a better position when you're wondering, boy, we've got too many starters or too many outfielders. How are we going to find room for them?
The blast to dead center field, backpedaling and making the catch. HAIRSTON right on the edge of the warning track, some 425 feet from home plate.
Yeah, it's one of the few balls the Rangers have hit hard off Smart. Just throwing the ball really well today. Mitch got all of that one.
The one gone here is A.J. Pierzynski.
How can the Las Vegas fans boo A.J.?
I don't know.
Cub fans, I guess, huh?
Chicago fans. Of course, the ex-White Sox would not. You can't, from what I understand in Chicago, you can't be both a Cubs and a White Sox fan.
Oh, okay.
You're one or the other.
One or the other.
And if you're a Cubs fan and you're here watching the Cubs, you can't favor any ex-White Sox players.
Well, I know the White Sox fans, when he goes back to Chicago to play the White Sox, they will be in his corner because he was a terrific player for them. They've got nothing but good thoughts about him. And I guess we understand the Cub feelings.
1-1 pitch. 2-1 now. And Navarro going to go out and talk to Smarja just for a second. Smarja has only allowed 1 base hit. That was a leadoff single in the first inning by Elvis Andrus. He's also a walk hitter. Other than that, he has been pretty good here this afternoon. That's out of play to the left. Of course, at this juncture, too, in spring training, you get a starting pitcher and you get him into the 4th inning, and if he's able to into the 5th inning, they can hit that wall in a hurry, and all of a sudden a guy that had been mowing him down runs into trouble very quickly. On the ground, and that's wide at first. The count is even at 2-2. Cubs 3 runs on 5 hits this afternoon. The Rangers no runs on 1 hit. And the count has gone full. Pierzynski hitting in the cleanup spot today. He'll be followed by the second baseman, ELVIS Solarte. Margin and Navarro not able to get together on the side, so Pierzynski backed out. Now they're all ready to go. And there will be a little discussion about this. Now, one of those things in spring training also, guys are working on different pitches in different situations than you might see during the regular season. And Navarro might be calling a regular season type game, and Smart said, no, this is what I want to work on. Now back to the screen.
He popped that one up there at 97 miles an hour.
Apparently Navarro didn't think to put down that 97 for the sign.
They must have wanted the 91 mile an hour. Sparger said, no, I got a little more than that for you, big guy.
That's pulled into right field. That's going to be down for a base hit. Over to cut it off is Sherholtz, rounding first, going into second. With the slide is Pierzynski.
Well, that'll quiet the fans a little bit.
Well, AJ with a one-out double, and the Rangers now have doubled in every single spring training game this season.
Threw the 97 mile an hour fastball, then hung the slider right up around his letters and allowed AJ to get ahead of it, knock it down the right field line for that double. Rangers trying to get on the scoreboard against Smarja.
Where the catcher walks out to the pitcher and says, how can you shake me off to throw that pitch? It's not what I called. Well, for just the second time today, the Rangers have a runner in scoring position. Pierzynski out there, and here's Solarte, and he takes inside for ball one. Solarte rounded back to the mound his first time up. Smarja bouncing off the mound and fielding the ball near the line at first. Make the unassisted put out. That pitch down and away. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Pierzynski at the bottom right of your screen, the lead from second. In the air, left field. Not very deep. Bogusevic in and toward the line. That is out number 2. Pierzynski staying in second. And we'll bring up Brandon Allen.
The designated hitter, number 7, Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen popped out to the second baseman his first trip up. Opportunity here to get the Rangers on the scoreboard if he can get a base hit with Pierzynski at second base. Brandon a home run and 3 driven in. One ball, no strikes. That will even the count. We mentioned Rangers and Cubs back here tomorrow afternoon. We'll be with you at 3 o'clock Central Time. Tomorrow the Cubs will be the home team, and Rangers will play the visiting role in the final game of this Major League weekend here in Las Vegas. And don't forget, there's a Major League weekend coming up. Big League weekend down in San Antonio. Coming up the 29th and 30th of March as the Rangers visit the Alamo Dome to play the first ever baseball games on Friday and Saturday night in the Alamo Dome, the 20-year history of the Dome down there. Wave and a miss. And it's 2-2. Padres will be the opponents for the Rangers. You can get tickets down there at bigleagueweekend.com for the San Antonio series. On Friday the 29th, it's a 7 o'clock start, and on Saturday the 30th, that's a 1 o'clock ball game. Got him swinging. Well, Smarja works around the 1-out double. Rangers strand their 3rd runner of the afternoon. We finished 4. The Cubs 3, the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Don't forget now, with the Rangers 20 game plan, you'll save up to 27% off box office prices. And you can lock in postseason priority. Choose from the 20 game plan schedules or select your own games with the Fans Choice 20. Opening day is still available in plans through 8 o'clock tomorrow night. For details, visit TexasRangers.com. Now on to the fifth inning here in Las Vegas. And joining us now, Rossi Rollencotter, the president and CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Rossi, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for the great hospitality that Vegas has shown us.
Well, you're more than welcome. We were all excited about Big League Weekend, and we're really thankful that all of you are here and all the Ranger fans are watching today.
Well, and this is a tremendous weekend that Las Vegas has put on for a number of years. Is it kind of a prelude at some point in time to maybe getting your own Major League club here in town?
Well, we would hope so, but Las Vegas has always been a great baseball city, and with the 51s over the last 30 years and Big League Weekend for more than 25 years, and the Oakland A's at one time did an opening season right here, a couple of games because their facility wasn't ready. So we're big on baseball.
What about the basketball you've got going on in town? What are the logistics in putting that together with all the teams you've got here?
Well, we're the first city that has 4 tournaments in one 2-week period, and so it's fantastic. If you're a basketball fan, this is the place to be. March Madness, the tournaments, the excitement of college basketball. So we are really a sports town year-round.
Yeah, and you mentioned the sports town, and people think, I guess, when you first think of Las Vegas, coming up to gamble, bet on sport, whatever, there's so much more to Las Vegas than just that meets the eye of the gambling establishment.
That's what's really happened, the evolution of our product over the years. We've seen, going from really a West Coast gaming destination to the international city that we are, and 150,000 rooms, and there's something for everyone. There's whatever you would like to do, Las Vegas offers that.
You know, you're celebrating, congratulations, by the way, your 40th year with the Convention and Visitors Authority. You've seen a few changes in your time as far as how things are operated, too.
Most definitely. And, I've seen a lot of changes. The fact that, special events have become important for us, activities like Big League Weekend, the entertainment offering. We're now the #1 convention city in North America for 18 years. But when you have to fill 150,000 rooms every day, you have to have a variety of types of things going on. But it's a fantastic place to be.
Walking around our hotel, we saw what looked like 5 or 6 4-star restaurants. This must be a pretty good place to come to eat as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's the chefs of the world are in Las Vegas. The dining experience that you can get all the way from the buffets to the quality restaurants, the 4- and 5-star restaurants. The shopping experience, that's also a big change in what has been offered. All the name brands, both domestically as well as internationally, are in Las Vegas. And so it's all of those things. You no longer can see Las Vegas in a weekend. You have to come various times over the course of a year.
Nick Teppe's working back to the top of the order, and Luis Valbuena up there after Edwin Masonette got the leadoff walk. The Cubs have been a favorite here. A lot of folks from Chicago enjoy coming out, especially at this time of year, to Las Vegas.
A lot of fans from the Chicago area, but a lot of fans that live in Arizona that come up to see the Cubs play, too. But Texas and Chicago are 2 big markets for Las Vegas, and a lot of visitors from the Southwest and from the Texas area, and we encourage all of them when the Rangers are on the road to come to Las Vegas and get back to see your games.
Well, with all the entertainment that you have to offer here, do you partake in the entertainment yourself? Have you seen some, who's your favorite performer that you've seen over 40 years?
Well, I like them all, but I've been able to see Frank Sinatra and the Beatles at the Convention Center, and Elvis Presley, and all the way through to the great stars of today. But, I just enjoy going out and being part of the excitement and the buzz.
Good pitch by Tepish, and he gets the strikeout of Luis Valbuena, caught admiring that pitch. And there's one away with Masonette still at first, and Darwin Barney coming up. We've got a pitching line for you on Nick Tepish, brought to you by Captain Morgan this afternoon. Tepish, 4 1/3, 5 hits. One of them has left the yard. 3 earned runs with 1 walk and a couple of strikeouts. Young man trying to make a good impression, maybe for that 5th slot in the Rangers starting rotation.
Have you seen some of the big boxing events that have been held here in town as well?
I've seen a lot of those. Muhammad Ali in that era. Now it's the UFC fighting and all the different fighters. So we still are the fight capital, whether it's boxing in the heavyweight division, middleweight division, or the UFC. So that's another part of what's made Las Vegas so successful.
You've seen the Beatles. You've seen Muhammad Ali. You might have a better job than we do. People tell us we've got the best job.
Now, I tell people I had the best job of anybody. Selling my hometown, selling Las Vegas, nothing could be better.
You know, Rossi, it amazes me, and it had been, I guess, 15 years since I'd come to Vegas before this, how much the city has grown, but how much it has remained a very intimate city. When you get downtown, people are just so friendly. It's amazing.
That's part of why we are the destination that draws 40 million people. We deliver on the brand promise of Las Vegas, and people enjoy themselves. You can have a great time. Even though we have 2 million people who live here, it's still, you know, the distance between the Strip and downtown is very close, and it's just all of that together, and you can get down into the downtown area and Fremont Street as well as the Strip and enjoy all of those things. But it's about customer service.
What percentage of the workforce here works in the hotel, entertainment, restaurant, casino business?
Directly, it's about a third, and then about another 20%. So you get about half of the population that works directly or indirectly in the resort gaming industry in Las Vegas. Yes.
You know, Tom and I like to dabble at golf. We've got a lot of friends back in the Metroplex that enjoy coming out here to play golf, too.
We have over 60 courses in the Southern Nevada area. There's a type of golf course for anyone, different types of experience that you can have, from the desert course to more competitive courses with all of the bells and whistles. So a golfer can have a great experience and experience different types of golf every single day.
Rossi, thanks so much for joining us again. Thank you very much for the hospitality. It's been a pleasure, and we have enjoyed our time and will enjoy our time here in Las Vegas.
Well, thank you. Have a great time, and I'll see you here next year.
All right,
Sounds
Rossi,
good.
thank you very much. Rossi Rollencotter, the convention. Three 3-0 to score. A quick reminder that opening week continues. That's April the 8th through the 10th. Rangers take on the Rays from Tampa Bay. The series concludes with a 1:05 start on that Wednesday. And you won't want to miss the first Nolan Ryan Beef Dollar Hot Dog Day of the season. Call 972-RANGERS for tickets today. Hit from Jeff Smarja to start off the bottom of the fifth inning. Aaron Cunningham takes it a bit off the plate. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Cunningham, Olt, and Beltre to face Smarja. Rangers trailing 3-0, and they have been out hit by Chicago. And there's a chopper just foul outside third. Cunningham bidding for a bounding double, and it missed by a couple of feet going down that line. Cunningham, a ground ball to short his first time to the plate. Smarja, a long look in. Now the right-hander rocks to the windup. Here's a base hit to left field. Cunningham smacking one through the hole on the left side. Second time the Rangers have had a base hit to start an inning. Third time in the 5 innings that they've had their leadoff man aboard and have yet to be able to do anything with it. Now 1 on, nobody out. Here's Mike Old, who drew a walk as he led off the Ranger third. A good rip at that fastball, fouled it straight back. 94-mile-an-hour heater. It is 0-1. Cunningham stepping off a small lead at first. Smarja a long hold, checking it. And Mike Holt now down on the count at no balls and 2 strikes. I mentioned tomorrow afternoon's ball game, the 3 o'clock start. We'll have Cody Ross on the hill for the Rangers. Going to get his work in tomorrow afternoon. It looks to be on the same schedule. Most of the Rangers starters right now that have been starters whole spring. That ball gets by Navarro, so down to second goes Aaron Cunningham. Most of the starters now trying to get into that 5th inning and be under pretty good control when they get there. That obviously will be a wild pitch. Corey Burns, the right-hander, down in the Ranger bullpen. So it looks like Nick Tepish afternoon will be finished after 5 innings. 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Good slider by Smarja. And the right-hander gets his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. 1 away. And Angel Beltre coming to the plate.
Well, we've seen some really good hard sinkers from Smarja. We've seen some good sliders, and it seems like the more the game's gone on, the better his changeup has gotten to go along with the slider and his fastball. And he, again, as we said early in the game, if a guy with this power arm perfects his changeup to go with that power slider, power sinker that he's got, he's going to win a lot of games.
Beltre skies one to fairly deep left field. Backing up on the ball, Bogusevic makes the catch, tagging at second, trying for third, and just in front of the tag by Masonette is Aaron Cunningham.
Well, that's an aggressive base running play, but with 2 outs, you might want it to be a little bit safer than that. Bogusevic, playing left field, was drafted as a pitcher by the Astros, so you know that he's got a great arm, and he makes a really accurate throw. Masonette wasn't quite able to slap the tag on the runner. You don't want to make the 3rd out over there at third base.
Yeah, that was a little closer than need be.
A little closer than he thought it was going to be.
Now Cunningham now is 90 feet away with 2 outs for Elvis Andrus.
I like the play yesterday when they tried to run on Craig Gentry from right field.
Yeah.
Just underestimated the arm strength.
Elvis 1 for 2. He singled his first time to the plate. Last time up in the 3rd, grounded to 3rd. Smarja working from the stretch, even though there are 2 outs and a runner at 3rd. That's out of play down the right side. Smarja still a little bit fuel in that tank, getting that fastball up there at 96 miles an hour. Big right-hander comes set. One ball and 2 strikes to Elvis. Didn't mean to do it, and excuse me, ground ball to third base. Masonette triggers the throw across, and that'll do it. So the Rangers, again with the first hitter on base, couldn't do anything with him. Cunningham left stranded at third base. On to the 6th, 3-0 Chicago on Fox Sports Southwest. 3-0, the Cubs leading the Rangers, and now let's take a look at Ozarka pitching change for you here at Cashman Field. It's the 25-year-old right-hander Corey Burns on from the Ranger bullpen. The numbers on Burns this spring. This is 8th game, and the guys vying for some time out of the bullpen for the Rangers. Burns was San Diego last year, appeared in 17 ball games in his first foray at the major league level. And welcoming in to the booth now, Terry Giles, who's the past president of the Texas Dairy Queen Operators Council. And Terry, thanks very much for joining us. Here's the president.
You bet. Good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. But tell us a little bit about the association between the Rangers and the Dairy Queen Operators Council.
Well, it started, we're going into our 4th year right now, so it's kind of midway through the 2010 year. We got the, I don't know, it's a little more of a gut feel about going in and teaming up with the Rangers, and it's been a pretty exciting run. A couple of World Series and the playoffs. Yeah. So much fun.
Let me know when you get a gut feeling about a lottery number. I think I'd like to, with your track record, I wouldn't mind having that. That was tremendous timing, and it's been, needless to say, a pretty good opportunity for both parties.
It really has. We've always felt very close to the Rangers. I don't know if you remember, but several years ago we had Nolan Ryan as our spokesperson. Right. Just prior to him going into the Hall of Fame. And so his going into the ownership aspect of the Rangers, it just seemed like a no-brainer for us.
Hey, Terry, Buzz and I kind of pride ourselves in the research that we like to do. So we've done a little research on you. We've talked to some people, and we've come up with a fact about you. Evidently, you have very soft hands. Now, does that mean you were a ball player? We didn't really find out exactly. Could you expand on that for us?
Well, I've got a couple of buddies that will never hear the end of this. But anyway, I was very blessed.
They're enjoying watching this right now.
That's right. I'll go ahead and tell the story since you asked. As a young kid, I was probably about 9 or 10 years old, and I had a neighbor who played baseball when he was younger, who was about 82 years old. And anyway, he had a baseball glove with no strings between the fingers, and he taught me to turn a double play, you catch it with the back part of the glove. Okay. And so anyway, I have the feeling, and I've told several of my friends who teach, coach Little League or whatever, that if you want the kids to learn to have soft hands, that's how you do it.
Pretty good. You must have been a pretty good fielder. Very interesting. I thought there might have been more to it than that, but I'm glad to hear that it was baseball related.
Yeah, there you go. I guess it should have been more in the soft hands towards flipping a blizzard over.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I can't tell you what an honor it is to be here with you two guys here. This is so exciting.
Oh, thanks for saying that.
As a kid growing up, you dream of playing in the big leagues or whatever, and this is as close as I've gotten. Well. I'm honored. I'm glad my Dairy Queen fellow operators asked me to come do this today.
Well, Tom and I have had a lot of DQs in our past, too, believe me. It's something we've had some experience with, not from your end of it, but from the eating end of it. I'll speak for myself.
That's the best part.
Yeah,
you have to be pretty proud of the role that Dairy Queen plays in so many towns across the state of Texas. I don't think you can go to a town in Texas without seeing a Dairy Queen on the main street.
Really, I mean, that's how you judge how big a town it is, by how many Dairy Queens it has, with the exception of the major, cities in Texas. But that's beginning to change now. There's Dairy Queens being built in the Colony, Euless, Wiley, Red Oak, and all those that are kind of leading into the city. And Houston also.
So you kind of see Dairy Queen expanding the same way that the state of Texas is expanding.
It really has. And it's kind of interesting because Dairy Queen, started back in 1947, right, which happened to be the year Nolan Ryan was born also. But anyway, at one time we had 1,000 stores in the state of Texas, but there were many of those that were walk-up stores that didn't have dining rooms, and so they've naturally gone by the wayside. And so we're a little over 500 stores now.
Wow.
But I don't know. I think our future, as with the Rangers, is very, very bright. We've got a lot of great products, coming online. And
sure.
Do Dairy Queens in Texas offer different products than Dairy Queens in other states?
Oh, sure. It wouldn't be Texas if it wasn't that way.
What are some of the unique products to Texas?
Our Belt Buster, which is a double meat, half-pound hamburger. The Triple Buster, which is 3/4 of a pound.
Sure.
And then we have the steak finger basket, which is, you won't find that outside of Texas. And probably one of the most exciting products that we have, and it's one that the customers who haven't had it, when they do try it, they say, man, I've been hiding that one from us, and that's our Texas T-Brand tacos.
Okay.
We've got a promotion coming up next month on that, where we're going to have a $5 taco trio, which is the 3 tacos, the drink, and a sundae to go along with it.
I'll ask you a dumb question because I don't know the answer. Did Dairy Queens originate in Texas?
Most people think they did.
I mean, it feels like it did.
It does. But no, it started in Illinois back in 1940, and then a gentleman bought the rights to the state of Texas in 1947. And from that time on, Texas just took it and embraced it and ran with it. And so we've had more, we still do have more Dairy Queens in Texas than any other state in the union.
All right, you're on your way to Dairy Queen and you're starving. What's your number one Dairy Queen meal? You personally?
Well, it's so hard to beat the chicken basket. And so I'd probably get that, and I'd also get what we call add a taco, so we'd add a taco to that.
Okay.
And probably a 32-ounce Coke to go with it.
Yeah.
And you'd have to top it off with either a Butterfinger Blizzard, Oreo, or something like that.
Well, you sold me.
I can tell you a funny story about the Blizzards. When it first came out, I would get a 32-ounce. I would, take it home. I was planning to put it in the freezer and put it in the microwave and thaw it out a little bit. Well, I'd get home and be watching a Ranger game, and first couple innings, I ate about a third of it. Next couple innings, another third. Before I knew it, the whole 32 ounces was gone.
Wow.
This is going to be close to the throws on time, not quite. A long single off the bat of Deanna Navarro, and Cubs plate their 4th run of the afternoon. It is a 4-0 Chicago lead.
Yes, Samarte didn't really have any way of knowing where his play was going to be on that ball. The ball hits off the wall, but he's not sure where the base runners are. As it turned out, if he had just turned and fired the ball home, he might have had a play at the plate. He turned and looked, and by the time he threw it, the runner was safe. But that ball was hit so hard, got to the wall so quickly, it was hard to know where the runners were going to be. Was the guy at second going to go to tag up? Would he go halfway? And as it is, the hitter only got a single.
Runners at the corners, a run across, 1 out. Ryan Bogusevic is the hitter. What are the future plans for Dairy Queen? More expansion?
Yes.
Keep on going?
Yeah, there's more in the works right now. We just had a meeting, and it was really, geared toward getting the operators to think about, either reinvesting, remodeling their stores or building new ones. And it's so exciting because the growth is still moving on there. One thing that I wanted to touch on right now is how our Dairy Queen season ties in so closely with the Rangers season. From March, our business just kicks off and takes off real well. And while I'm talking about that, if we have any young Dairy Queen employees or people looking to be employed at Dairy Queen, we're hiring right now. So anybody that we can encourage to go out and fill out an application right now, because our season is really taking off. And then got a good strong summer, and it goes into the fall there. And I can tell you, the 2 years that the Rangers were in the World Series, our business continued on good through October. So I'm looking forward to that happening again.
Yeah, so are the Rangers. Be good for everybody.
Yeah.
How about outside the United States? Are you active outside the United States?
Yeah, there's a lot of stores being built in China. There's stores in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and Japan.
So for Texans traveling abroad that have to have a DQ, they'll know where to go.
Yeah, they can feel comfortable with finding the DQ product there.
Great.
Very nicely done as the double play instincts. The Cubs come up with a couple of runs. But Terry Giles with Dairy Queen, thank you very much for joining us. We sure appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you around the ballpark and at our favorite Dairy Queen this year.
And I'm going to bring blizzards next time I come.
Good. Perfect.
We'll see you soon, soft hands.
All right, we're going to the bottom of the sixth inning. It is 5-0 Chicago on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, the Cubs will open up a 5-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the sixth. And the Ozarka pitching change for you as we head to the bottom half of inning number 6. Very familiar name in Ranger lore, the son of former Ranger Jeff Russell. James Russell, left-handed reliever, on for the Cubs.
I thought it was Jeff Smarja throwing left-handed for a while. Yeah, probably a good chance to say hi to Russ. I'm sure he's watching right now. How you doing, Russ? How's your golf game?
I want to know how he got a son like James to throw from the wrong side.
See, Russ actually was had the mentality of a lefty.
Okay.
He just happened to throw righty.
Just threw right.
But he really should be claimed by the southpaw generation.
Okay, well, that makes sense now. I hadn't thought about it like that. I'm glad you filled me in on that part. James Russell in his 4th year now with the Cubs has done a real good job coming out of the bullpen. He has really become a fixture in Chicago from that left side out of the pen. Facing Craig Gentry here to start off the Rangers' 6th inning. 1 ball, no strikes. Gentry 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground ball to second. Rangers just 3 hits this afternoon. A couple of singles and a double. Popped out of play on the first base side, and the count is even at 1-1. Jeff Smarja worked the first 5 innings, allowed just the 3 hits, no runs, walked 1, struck out 3. Pretty well hit right center field. On his horse is HAIRSTON, sliding and can't come up with it. Gentry putting on the Jets around second. He is motoring into third, in there standing with a 3-bagger.
Well, Craig is not a guy so far in his big league career who has shown a lot of power. He's been more of a line drive hitter with speed, but he's hit a couple of home runs this spring, and that's probably as well as I've seen him drive a ball to right center field. Well, that's a nice spring training development. A little more pop from Craig. See the speed, that's always been.
Yeah. So that's one thing that hasn't changed too much.
No, that hasn't changed. Good contact. Plays aggressively, plays hard all the time. Definite asset to a good team.
Gentry now at third, nobody out after the leadoff triple. Here's Mitch Moreland, who has had pretty good success against left-handers. He's going to get the run home as he rolls out to first base, but that gets the job done as Clevenger goes to the bag, and Mitch Moreland with his 8th spring training RBI makes it a 5-1 Chicago lead.
The catcher, number 12, A.J. PIERZYNSKI.
Moreland with the RBI ground out. One away now, bases empty. And A.J. PIERZYNSKI, who doubled his last time up, will step in. A.J. extending the Rangers streak to 21 consecutive games with at least one double. Every game the Rangers have played this spring, they have had at least a two-bagger. Looks at a strike. It is 0-1. A looper out toward the shortstop hole, and backing out Valbuena makes the grab. PIERZYNSKI is soft out. There are 2 gone for Yangervis Solarte. What James Russell's been able to do with the Cubs. He appeared in almost 200 major league games. You know, it's hard to believe that James Russell now is approaching 200 major league ball games.
Sure is.
Wow.
He was hanging around with his dad in the clubhouse last I saw him.
He got a career ERA of just a shade over 2.402. He has dropped that ERA each year. He's improved every year he has been at the big league levels. He misses just a bit high. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Solarte. Last year getting the earned run average down to 325. Outside, 2-1. Solarte, as we mentioned, in the mix for one of the backup spots, utility spots. The infield for the Rangers. Takes a strike here to even things at 2-2. Got him swinging. A good fastball, and Russell gets the strikeout. Rangers get on the board, though. Leadoff triple and a ground out. Get a run on a hit, nobody left. On to the 7th we go from Las Vegas. 5-1 Chicago. Rangers on the board now have cut the deficit to 5-1 as Chicago as we head to the 7th inning. Wholesale changes for the Rangers as they head out to take the field. And most notably on the mound is the left-hander Nate Robertson.
Well, Nate Roberts is having an excellent spring. Looking forward to seeing him. He's altered his delivery a little bit, throws a little bit more from a 3/4 to sidearm angle. Had been a starting pitcher, trying to make the team as a left-handed reliever, and he's showing up doing a pretty good job. Pitched 7 times, 7 innings, 3 hits, a couple of walks, and 3 strikeouts. That's it. No runs, 130 opponent's batting average. And Joe Ortiz putting up the same numbers.
Mason, that pops one up to left field, and well, the new shortstop, Andrew Alberto, going out and had somebody pull the rug out from under him. He went down, but Cohen able to make the catch in left field. Now with 1 away, another guest for us, and this one, one of the Rangers involved in the ball game today. Our Papa John's guest this afternoon is A.J. Pierzynski. A.J., thanks very much for joining us.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Kind of a day, A.J., you got a chance to work with Nick Tepesch again. And first of all, your thoughts on the young man. I know he had a rough inning, but he has shown some things this spring that kind of belie the fact that he hasn't had that much experience.
Well, he's opened a lot of eyes, and that's what you expect and love to see out of young guys. I think he's throwing the ball over the plate. He's not afraid, and he's gotten outs. I mean, that 1 inning wasn't that bad. They hit some balls in some holes, but other than that, he threw the ball really well, and we couldn't be any happier with him.
AJ, now that you've had about a month of spring training, how comfortable are you having seen all the pitchers that you're going to have to work with this season?
Oh, we're getting there. There's still a work in progress every time out. Obviously, the starters, and we'll be happy to get Derek back after Team USA was eliminated. But I'm happy that we got in a long spring. I know a lot of people complain about it, and I was one of them, but it's been good for me to come over to a new team and get to learn the pitchers because of the fact we have a longer spring.
You know, this is the 4th team you've gone to now, and starting out in Minnesota, you went to the Giants and then the White Sox. Did you pick up some things along the way that have helped you in the transition this year with the Rangers staff?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one, facing a lot of these guys helps, and then after that, it's just learning the guys. You got to just learn to communicate with them and talk to them, and I guess we'll talk to you next half inning.
Yeah, if you can stay, we'd appreciate that.
Sure, no
Thanks
problem.
very much. All right, 3 up, 3 down, and it's 7th inning stretch time. Cubs leading 5-1 on Fox Sports Southwest. The breeze starting to kick up a little bit here in Vegas, blowing from the left field corner toward the right field corner. Cubs leading 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and we are continuing our conversation with Rangers catcher A.J. Pierzynski, who caught the first 6 innings here this afternoon. And A.J., you're talking about the transition to the Rangers staff, having had an opportunity to face a lot of them. What have you found out now that you've been able to tell the pitchers about your opportunities to face them that will help them become better pitchers?
Well, I think it always helps when you face a guy on the other side and they come over, because you know what we tried to do against them and what we looked for. And it kind of helps you with tendencies and things like that. And I was talking to like Harrison about what he did against us, and I was talking to Holland about what we did and we tried to face him. And it just helps guys get their bearings on, hey, what are other teams trying to do against me? I mean, you can watch video and do that kind of stuff, but it's not the same unless you've been in the box.
You probably, I would have to think, faced Nate Robertson when he was starting.
A whole bunch of times.
Tigers.
A whole bunch of times. We joke about that all the time, how many times I faced him.
What about the difference between him now trying to make our ball club as a reliever as opposed to when he was a starter?
Well, when he was a starter, he was a power guy. Power sinker, power slider, about 95 with the 88, 89 mile-an-hour slider that just disappeared. And now he's more of a finesse guy with a drop down. And as a left-handed hitter, those are the guys you call cheaters, because a lefty, you got to throw the ball right. You can't be dropping down sidearm against this lefty. So, yeah, exactly. So, but he's been good this spring. He's been really good this spring, and I think he brings that deception, he brings experience, and he brings pitching. And that's something as a left-handed reliever that you can never take too much for granted, I guess, because he has experience in all situations. He's pitched in a World Series, so he knows what it's all about.
Yeah, plus he owns a minor league club, so that helps too. If you have,
he does.
Yeah, he owns the Wichita Wingnuts.
How did he pull that off? You should ask me. I would have liked to have gotten involved in that. I didn't know you could do that.
That's how he got back into throwing.
He says he's saving the GM job for you when you decide not to play anymore.
Well, I've never been to Wichita, but I don't know if I'd like it that much.
Yeah, you would.
Okay.
You would, yeah.
I believe you guys, but I don't know if I want to go there for the GM job.
Well, I'd wait a couple of years.
Well, speaking of future jobs, you've done a little bit of media work in postseason, done a great job at it. Is that something in your long-range plan?
It'd be something that's fun. I know that I was very fortunate, obviously, to get on Fox and be able to do the postseason, watch the Rangers in the 2011 World Series, and then watch the 2012 World Series and get to commentate on it and do some stuff. But I have nothing but respect for you guys now, because I realize now how hard it is to put a baseball game on television. I didn't realize how hard it was, how much work, and how much work went into it, plus how hard it is to talk with someone talking in your ear all the time, telling you to hurry.
Since you brought that up, let me ask you this question. Are you much better now acquiescing to requests for interviews than you were before you did some media work?
Yes, because in 2011 during the World Series, I remember we had the hardest time getting not only Cardinals guys but Rangers guys not only to talk but also on time. So you have to understand, hey, the media has a job to do, and when you're the guy waiting to ask a guy a question, he doesn't show up. Exactly. It doesn't make you feel good, and it doesn't make you look good either.
Well, and you understand that these stupid questions we ask go a long way toward being what we have to deal with. That ball's hit pretty well to center.
That's a long way. Get up.
Off the top of the wall by Joey Gallo.
That guy got hit, by the way.
At second base. We were talking about the show that he put on during batting practice today.
Yeah, he's got unbelievable pop. I remember the first day in camp, I was hitting with him, and I was like, who is this guy? And Greg Maddox was like, hey, he went to Bishop Gorman where Maddox's kids went, and he's like, hey, look out for this guy, because he can hit. And he hit 20-some homers, I think, in rookie ball last year.
Yep. And Gallo giving that a good ride. 433 feet to dead central here, and he got it up on the wall a little bit. That's a pretty good. That's about a $25 or $30 cab ride in this city. Man.
That's like going from one hotel to the next.
Exactly. One end of the casino. Ryan Strasburger is the hitter. We're talking with A.J. Pierzynski, who's kind of filling us in on his introduction to the other side of the microphone, and what an enlightening experience that has been.
Oh, no doubt. You know what? One thing I think that was weird, though, is as a current player, you want to say the right things, but also when you walk into another team's clubhouse, that can get a little bit awkward at times. When I was still playing, and then you guys were playing the Tigers in 2011, the last year in the World Series, walking into Jim Leland's office and having the managers meeting and listening to him talk about the players that you're still playing against is a little strange. Even the Cardinals and even the Giants, you know, it's interesting to know that's what managers say about you when you're still a player. There we go.
The base hit to right field. Gallo
GP
around third.
Oh, we got to play at the plate.
Long throw.
Safe.
He is out at the plate. Oh, Gallo just able to be tagged before he got that hand in there. And he is shot down 9-2 on the put-up. AJ, thanks very much. Appreciate your time and look forward to spending the 2013 season with you and hearing about all your tricks with the media stuff.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right. 5-1 remains the score as we head to the 8th inning here in Las Vegas. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Medical Center Arlington, proud to serve as the official hospital of the Texas Rangers. By Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. By Captain Morgan, to life, love, and loot, raise a glass, always in moderation. And by Ozarka brand 100% natural spring water, the official bottled water of the Texas Rangers. The breeze picking up a little bit, blowing a little dust around the Las Vegas Valley as the Cubs are leading 5-1 as they come to bat here in the top of the 8th inning. And a new hurler on the mound, Ben Rowan, coming from down under. He deals a strike. Rowan was not in Major League camp to start the spring. He started off in the minor league camp and was promoted after a couple of outings that drew the attention of the Ranger brass. Off speed, and that finds the mark. It is 0-2. Got kind of a funky south of Laredo type of delivery. He gets it done. So our Ozarka pitching change for this afternoon, Ben Rowan.
It seems like more and more over the last 10 or 15 years, you've seen guys pitch from this angle. I think they've noticed success that other pitchers have had, and possibly they've started out in a more traditional, with a more traditional delivery, and it wasn't getting them there where they wanted to be, so they drop down, try something different, and the deception that it offers has given a lot of guys a second chance and made good big league pitchers out of them.
That first hitter that Ben Rowan faced, by the way, Brad Nelson, and he went down swinging. One away. Norman Chavez is the hitter, and boy, he saws off the cupped part of that bat pretty well.
He hit it right on the end of the bat, right off the end of the bat. A little bit out in front of that pitch.
Go back, and somebody's going to ask me, did you get all of that? Yeah, I got it stuck in the cup of the bat is where I got it all. Airman Chavez going back to get a new piece of lumber. Chavez making his way back to home plate. Count of no balls and 1 strike. Facing Ben Rowan. Rowan 6'4" and 190 pounds. He's from Williamsville, New York. Just missed a little bit low. And the count is even at 1-1. Rowan was taken in the 22nd round of the 2010 draft out of Virginia Tech. Got him all tied up on that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rowan last year worked in Myrtle Beach. 38 innings of work. Went 5-0 with a 157 earned run average. And those kinds of numbers will draw the attention of folks also. Right-hander with a 1-2. Got him swinging. Back-to-back punch-outs, and that's how the 8th inning opens for Ben Rowan.
There's the deceptive delivery from down under. Breaking ball that almost looks like it rises. From a traditional angle, you really can't throw a pitch that goes up. But I guess from down there, you can throw a breaking ball that does go up, and that's something the hitter doesn't see. That's why almost every baseball player, if you face a real good fast pitch softball pitcher, sometimes it's a girl, they don't match up well because they can throw pitches that rise.
That's right.
And you don't see that in baseball.
Scott Harrison going the other way with the first pitch. And this guy's out to right field. Strasburger handling it. And Ben Rowan, a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of punch-outs. 7.5 in the book. Cubs 5, Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. The Cubs 5 runs on 8 hits. Rangers 1 run on 6 hits as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. And now our Capital One Bank play of the day. And it was Craig Gentry as he led off the 6th inning. Plugged that gap in right center field. And with his speed, Craig Gentry in with a stand-up triple to start off the inning. And he eventually came around to score the only Ranger run so far. Craig Gentry with that triple. Good crowd on hand, just over 9,000 to watch the Rangers and the Cubs here today. Bright, sunshiny afternoon. Wind picking up just a little bit, although not terrible, certainly by standards here. Young man down there with a couple of handfuls of baseballs. And the new pitcher, Jay Chapman, for the Chicago Cubs, fires a strike. It is 0-1 to Hanser Alberto. One hopper to third. And that will be out number 1 as Alberto taps out. Jay Chapman's numbers for the spring thus far. Chapman came over from Atlanta last July in the deal that sent Paul Maholm and Reed Johnson over to the Braves. Julio Bourbon for his first at bat of the afternoon. Bourbon, as you saw, at 265, a wave and a miss. Chapman pulling the string on that breaking ball. No balls and 2 strikes. Chapman to the plate. Ball to the right side. That'll be out number 2 as Bourbon is shot down. Action down there in the Ranger bullpen. No, it is not Drew Robinson, since he is an infielder. It is Tanner Shepard. Now, that'd be a story if we had that. Drew Robinson coming into this play. Although Joey Gallo contends that he can throw 100 miles an hour, or did.
Well, yeah. I don't know about 100, but I know he was throwing in the mid-90s, at least according to the people we've talked to.
Yeah, he said he'd been clocked at 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
You know, as big as he is, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I'm not doubting him.
And I guess the age-old question is, if you can hit a ball 600 feet or you can throw a fastball 100 miles an hour, which is more important? And I think the opportunity to hit a fastball 600 feet on a daily basis is probably more important.
I guess it boils down to how often can you hit the ball 600 feet and how many strikes can you throw with that 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah. Call strike 3. Robinson caught looking on the outside corner, and the Las Vegas is put down. So the side retired in 1-2-3 fashion. We're going to the 9th from Las Vegas. The Cubs 5, the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. ninth inning here in Las Vegas. The Cubs leading the Rangers 5-1, and another Ozarka pitching change for you. Coming out of the Ranger bullpen, the man you saw down there loosening. It is the 26-year-old right-hander Tanner Scheppers. Scheppers, of course, arriving on the major league scene last year, mid-year with the Rangers, and really did a fine job. And I think his improvement as the season went on last year, the last couple of months, really opening some eyes there. Tanner getting the opportunity here in spring training, and ERA rather inflated, but that has been coming down of late, last couple of times out. He will get the opportunity here and facing J.C. Boscan, and the catcher for the Cubs takes a strike. It's 0-1. Boscan this spring, a couple of RBI, hitting .444. Good sharp breaking ball, and it's 0-2 now to Boscan. And that was a pitch that Scheppers really got command of toward the latter stages of the 2012 campaign, that breaking ball, and he was able to throw it pretty good consistency in the strike zone like that.
There's a couple right in a row right there.
Snap throw on to first by Felix, and that is out number one.
Well, Tanner obviously has a great arm. His fastball is in the mid-90s. But in addition to that, to consistently get big league hitters out, you've got to throw something else. And those last two curveballs will definitely serve him well if he can be consistent with that pitch.
I think that'll get most guys out.
I think it'll get a lot of hitters out. The one pitch that won't get big league hitters out, and Tanner's found that out, is that belt-high fastball right down the middle of the plate. And when he does get hit, I think too often it's the location of his fastball inside the strike zone that gets him in trouble. When he spots his fastball where he wants to and then mixes in that curveball to go along with it, and he sets him up, sets him down 1-2-3.
Ty Wright, as you saw, is the hitter. Very limited appearances this spring for the Cubs. Another breaking ball. That's in the dirt. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Ty Wright taking over for Brian Bugasevic, and Tanner Scheppers trying to come back in the count now. He's down 2-0. And misses low with that one. 3 balls, no strikes. And that was the thing I think that Tanner Scheppers battled early last year in his big league appearances. The inconsistency from hitter to hitter. 3-0 pitch is right down the middle. And that seemed to smooth out a little bit as he got more comfortable at the big league level, where he was able to get ahead of guys a little bit more quickly. And like you mentioned, Tommy, you know, big league hitters, I don't care how hard you throw, if the fastball is always about the same speed, ground ball through the hole for a base hit. It's about the same speed, and it's up in the zone where you get a good look at it. Guys are going to turn it around.
Yeah, they'll get good swings at that pitch for sure.
Ty Wright gets the base hit. That is hit number 9 for the Cubs this afternoon. 1 on, 1 out. Steve Clevenger. First baseman is the hitter. First pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Scheppers back to the plate. This is outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Now Tanner, after getting a strikeout against Boscan to start the inning, is now falling behind both Wright and Clevenger. That's 2 hitters that he's faced. Here's the fastball, belt high for strike 1. Ron Washington talking before the game today, kind of handicapping the right-handed portion of the bullpen, the competition for those right-handed spots. And he said, you know, the right-handers, really nobody has stepped forward and taken the bull by the horns, as he put it, the way that some of the left-handers have. The left-handers have all really pitched well. He said the right-handers have really been inconsistent for the most part. He said that's the one thing that has surprised him a little bit about that into the competition.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the makeup lefties and righties in the bullpen with so many lefties throwing the ball well in spring training. You know, a guy like Nate Robertson is trying to make the team, and he just had a quick 1-2-3 inning. He hasn't given up a run. We talked about Joe Ortiz. Same thing, quick 1-2-3 innings. He hasn't given up a run. You know, Michael Kirkman's throwing the ball great. If Robbie Ross doesn't start, then he would move into the bullpen. So that's a lot of lefties.
And a base hit to left field. And stopping at second base is Wright. So Klubinger going the other way, gets the base hit. And with one out, there are runners at first and second. The Cubs making some noise here again late in the ball game here in the ninth inning, and Edwin Masonette comes up for his fourth at bat of the day. Yeah, when you look at the Ranger bullpen as it stands right now from the right side, that Joe Nathan and Jason Frazier are probably the only two right-handers that you can say right now are members of that bullpen, or at least you're counting on to be members. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. Shallow center field, going out quickly. Making a nice over-the-shoulder catch. Enzer Alberto able to track that ball down. So that is out number 2. We're going to bring up Tim Saunders.
There's been several balls hit like that today, little bloopers past shortstop, and it looks like on every one of them, no matter who the shortstop has been, the sun has been a battle for them to track the ball down. Elvis had a little problem with one early in the game.
Saunders takes a little bit low for ball 1. Saunders 0 for 1, having grounded out to second base, his first time to the plate.
You know, Buzz, I think realistically, when you look at the bullpen, a guy that you kind of count on to step up and make the team and develop into a solid late inning guy is Tanner Scheppers. You know, he's a guy that grew up in the organization. He's got a terrific arm. He showed some nice signs last year of developing into that kind of a guy. And I think if you're the Rangers, you count on him to come to spring training, win a job, and be a productive guy in the bullpen. But it's up to him to go out and do it. The tools are there. He's shown glimpses of it. But you love to have those power arms late in the ball game.
No, you're right. And I think that's not to say this is a do-or-die spring for him, but it would go a long way, I think, in his development to get things together and be a contributing member coming out of this camp.
Yeah, and no, it's not do or die, but at the same time, I think he's been here long enough, and he's had his opportunities at the big leagues to get over the nervousness, to get over the jitters, to feel like a big leaguer, to where, you know, now he should be ready to step up and do that. And obviously it happens at different speeds for different pitchers. Some guys take to it quickly. Some guys take a little bit longer. It's nice to have these kind of tools to work with. And I think when you have these kind of tools, the expectations rise a little bit for those of us watching them. And your expectations get a little bit higher. But he's still got to get over it, over the on-the-job training to where he has the confidence to know he can go out there, make the pitches, and get people out.
Yeah, and when you see that kind of confidence develop in a young man that has the ability of Tanner Scheppers, I mean, it's like somebody flipping on a light switch.
Yeah,
and then it's
off to the races.
Yeah. That pitch just a bit low, and the count has gone full. So with 2 outs and the full count, you'll have the runners on the move. Runners at first and second. Tanner Scheppers heaving a big sigh on the mound. He's trying to figure out a way to get this final out with no damage done here in the ninth. On the move are the runners. The 3-2 pitch is chopped foul. We'll come back and try it again. And the other guy that's kind of in that saying both that you're expecting a little bit more out of, but hasn't had a lot of experience, is Josh Lindblom, who came over from the Phillies. He'd had time last year at the major leagues for the first time and really showed himself to be a power-armed right-hander and hasn't had the velocity that this spring that he had last year. The Rangers are hoping certainly that comes around, but there's a guy that you can count on too. 3-2 pitch, that's chopped to third. Allen fires one across 100. That might have been 100. He got that in a hurry over there. So the side retired. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Rangers one more shot. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Dairy Queen. DQ, that's what I like about Texas. By Las Vegas, for all things Vegas, there's only one LasVegas.com. By Cholula, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. By Capital One Bank, the official bank of the Texas Rangers. And by the City of Surprise, Surprise Recreation Campus, spring training home of your Texas Rangers. Kids of all ages having a great time out here. Ranger fans coming in all sizes and shapes and playing in the, hope that's mud out there. That'd be a great afternoon for a little mud bath.
Yeah, I'm sure parents would love that.
New pitcher on the hill, Blake Parker for the Chicago Cubs. And he deals to Jose Felix. It is ball one. Breaking ball by Parker, and that's just off the outside corner. Ozarka bringing you his numbers, the numbers for Blake Parker. It's his 5th spring training game. A couple of strikeouts and 1 walk. Fastball strike. It's 2-1. Jose Felix last year at Double-A Frisco. 260 hitter with 7 round trippers. Out of play to the right. The count is even at 2-2. Men, as we mentioned, we'll be right back here tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time. Carlos Villanueva will be on the hill for the Chicago Cubs. Robbie Ross heading to the mound, left-hander for the Rangers. The 2-2. Got him swinging. Pretty good breaking ball. And Felix is gone on strikes.
The 7-7.
A one away. Roned Odor is coming to the plate. Quite a few of the minor league players making this trip. Odor, one of them. Ron Washington taking the opportunity to give some minor league guys the opportunity to be around the major league players and It's kind of a neat little road trip if you're in the minor leagues.
It's got to be a great trip for a young minor leaguer who hasn't played AAA ball yet. To leave Arizona and come to the bright lights of Las Vegas has to be a couple of great days for him.
Yeah. Fly up on the team charter that team playing the Rangers fly during the season, and everything really is first class. It's big league all the way, and they're getting, so for some of them, their first taste of it. 2-0 the count to Odor. Two and one. Parker, as you note, working from the stretch the entire time. Typical of a lot of relievers now. He gets a swinging strike, too. Odor from Maracaibo, Venezuela. He's gone on strikes as Parker, pulling the string, gets back-to-back strikeouts. And the Rangers now find themselves down to their last out. That'll be up to Mike Bianucci in his second at bat. He's able to get aboard. He will prolong this ball game. Rangers trailing 5-1. Breaking ball hangs inside. Parker back to the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Breaking ball. That one cuts the outside corner in half. And now Bianucci down to his final strike. The Rangers down to their final strike. The Rangers last year split the weekend up here with the Cubs, losing the first and winning the second, unless they can stage a pretty good comeback here with 2 outs in the ninth. They will be put in the same position they were last year. This year, they'll be with you on St. Patrick's Day. They'll have to come back and win that St. Patty's Day matchup to split this series. The 2-2 is on the way. Foul tip in and out with a glove of Poscan, and Bianucci staying alive. Again, the 2-2. Got him swinging. Well, Parker comes in, strikes out the side. Rangers go down to defeat for the second consecutive day today. It's the Chicago Cubs 5 and the Rangers 1. The Cubs out hitting the Rangers 9-7. And Tom, kind of day, I guess you look for the positives. There were quite a few of them, but the Rangers just couldn't quite get things together against Smarja and company.
Yeah, offensively, the Rangers saw some pretty good pitching today. Jeff Smarja was really terrific. 5 innings, 95-mile-an-hour sinkers, a good changeup, and a hard slider. They didn't do much against him. Offensively, I guess the highlight might have been the towering extra base hit that young Joey Gallo hit to dead center field 430 feet away. That was fun to watch. From the pitching standpoint, Nick Tepesh was okay, pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. Some of the balls weren't hit that hard. He made a lot of good pitches. I don't think he hurt himself today. Nate Robertson continues to have a great spring. Another 1-2-3 inning for him as he battles for a spot in the bullpen. So we'll look to tomorrow and see if we can't come out and score some runs.
Yeah, Robbie Ross back on the hill for the Rangers, and his tune-up for the spring in competition for that number 5 slot in the starting rotation. Well, that's going to do it. The Cubs win 5-1. And for Tom Grieve, our entire crew, this is Steve Busby saying good afternoon from Las Vegas. Join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest from Las Vegas. The Rangers and the Cubs meet once again. Thanks for watching the Texas Rangers on Fox Sports Southwest.